Good evening from the UK. Well, late afternoon. So if you're joining, please let me know where you're watching from. And also let me know what time it is for you. We're going to be talking about mountaintops, goals for animal communication with your pet. And I'd be really interested in knowing whether it's something that you do, as in set goals when it comes to your animal communication learning, or maybe it's a new concept. So I am going to be checking on my phone because then I can see your comments there and I can say hi to you personally. So do interact with me. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. If you're watching this on replay, as always, you can do a hashtag replay or just replay or hi. I always go back and check the comments, and especially if you have questions as well. I really love questions. So I'm always eager to offer my thoughts or views on things that you would like to ask me. So just a few people are watching and a few people are joining. So just giving it a couple of minutes more. And then as always, I like to share some slides with you, but we're looking, at, do you have in mind why you want to communicate with your pet? Is this something that you've thought about, or has it been so far that, you think to yourself, oh, I thought I'll just have a look. But I love the fact that we can set goals generally in life. It's something that I do. I'm not kind of, strong on it. But I find that where I have set in my mind, what it is that I would like out of something, can be anything. It allows me more clarity. It gives me more, makes it more straightforward in terms of research into how much I want to go into it. So I'd love to know, is goal setting something that you have considered for your animal communication? So say yes, goals, or no goals. Okay, right. I'm still waiting just to see if any comments are coming through. So do say hi to me and I would love to say hi back to you. Okay, I can see quite a number of you have joined, so I'm going to make a start. So thank you for being here with me. It's always great to have your company. Right, so let's talk about goals. Okay, I can see some names coming through now. I'll say hi to Katie, hi to Kirsty. So 9 a.m. for you, Katie, 5 p.m. for Kirsty. Nita is 9:30 p.m. because she's in India. So Katie, you have yes for your goals. Okay, anybody else? Yes for goals when it comes to animal communication, or no to goals because you haven't maybe thought that there is, that is needed to have goals. Maybe you associate goals with, I don't know, something to do with work or so, okay, I'm going to go straight into it. I love slides, so I'm going to share the slide with you and please do interact with me. I love to know what you are thinking as I go through and share with you what I'd like to kind of bring to you to get you thinking. That's what I like to do. I like to get you thinking. So when we talk about the word goal, or when I mention the word goal, can you put in the comments for me, please? What emotions come up for you? What do you associate? What are your feelings when it comes to the word goals? I'm not going to give you any of mine for now. I don't want to influence you. So share with me in the comments. If you've just joined, we're looking at animal communication with your pet and your mountaintop goals. Have you thought about setting goals for your animal communication learning, or is it completely something you hadn't thought about? So you can answer yes goals or no goals. But what we are looking at right at this moment in time is when I talk about goals or when goals are being mentioned, what emotions come up for you? What emotions or feelings are associated with goals? So I see that Bettina has just joined, and also Bettina Jensen has joined, Kathita has joined, Joe Bayer, hello to you from the US. Okay, so Kathita says, one goal, to be able to communicate with animals. Okay. What about emotions? What are your emotions behind the goals, or just the word goal? What comes to you? I like to connect in with emotions because they tell the truth of where we're at. It doesn't tell the kind of like the real picture of what is actually going on, but it tells the truth of where we're at with something. And our emotions really allow us to understand, whether we have actually set some blocks or some resistance to something, or whether actually the emotion really does fire us up. Okay. Katie says, roadmap, but confusing what I want to be. So you can find goals can create some confusion, yeah? Kathita says, only great emotions if I succeed in obtaining my goals. Okay, so goals to you, Kathita, are conditional. So you see goals as having successes and failure. Aha, okay. So can you see how we can really understand what drives us? So you can also see how goals can create perhaps a sense of pressure, because Kathita, you're saying, I get great emotions if I succeed, but if I don't, it doesn't make me very happy at all. Okay. So Kirsty says, no goals, not a fan of the word goal, makes me feel nervous. Okay, so goals, the emotion when you think about goals brings in nervousness. Okay, so keep the comments coming in as I keep talking. Well, I'd like to help you reframe goals. When you think about a goal, this is the sentence to complete. Okay, because often we set our goals according to what we think we should achieve. Already the word should is in there. Who else is going to scream with me? Should, right? So often we think a goal means it should be something we need to achieve. But I want you to think about goals differently, especially when it comes to animal communication, because animal communication, especially with our own pets, really is about excitement, it's about joy, it's about curiosity. So who here wants to put in the comments to complete this sentence when it comes to animal communication with your pet or animal communication generally? I am excited about, or I am excited to. Please share. Is it getting you to think? I might even pick on you a bit here, Kirsty, because you said about nervousness when you hear the word goal. So now, when I ask you to think about your animal communication goal, I want you to complete this sentence. I am excited about, what is your goal? I am excited to, what is the goal? It's got to come from a place of excitement. Because if you don't have excitement when you're setting a goal, can you see already right at the very start, if you're nervous or you're saying to yourself, I mustn't fail, I have to reach my goal. Yeah, the energy isn't really the most motivating. But if you put goals around the energy of excitement, so that you're saying, I am excited about, I am excited, too. Okay, let's have a look. Bettina says, spiritual growth. Yes, it is a goal. I'm excited about discovering my spiritual growth through animal communication. And Bettina, I can resonate with you because I used to think I don't understand what spirituality is. I so wanted to be spiritual and I didn't know what that meant. And then through animal communication, I actually feel and believe I have grown spiritually. My understanding, my compassion, my empathy, my connection to nature, my belief that there is a force greater than me is absolutely down to my animal communication journey, because of the people that I've met, because of the wisdom the animal gives me. So Bettina, that is a beautiful goal, as well as feel the bond to the animal. I'm excited to feel the bond to the animal. So that's your goal. You'll know when you reach your goal because you get the excitement and you can feel the bond. So that is a brilliant goal. So Katie, yours is, I am excited to know my pets deeper and to know them holistically, thoughts and feelings. Wow. Can you see how different that goal is when Katie describes it that way? Much better, isn't it? Okay, let's see if there's any more. Okay, keep them coming in. It can take a little time to think about it, but do pop it in the comments even after the Facebook Live, because I would love to be able to share with you in the excitement of your goal. So your goal also has to have a purpose, right? Don't just think, oh, well, that's the goal, because we want to check, is that goal truly aligned for you or with you? Yeah, again, just making sure you're not setting goals that you think you should reach because other people are doing it or somebody else has said that's what it should be. Okay, what are the benefits for reaching your goal? What's in it for you? What will you get out of reaching your goal? I mean, what ways will it change your relationship with your pets? What is it like now? And what will it be like when you've reached your goal? So looking at your goal, so say your goal is to feel the bond to the animal. Say to yourself, what are the benefits for feeling the bond to the animal? For Katie, you're saying, I'm excited to know my pets deeper, having holistic and, regards to their thoughts and feelings holistically. So say to yourself, in what specific ways will it change your relationship with your pets? So where you are now, how are you relating to your pets? And then when you reach your goal, where you are connecting with them in a much more deeper and holistic way, how will that change the relationship for you and your pets? So this now gives you an anchor or a reason for setting the goal in a really high vibration energy, doesn't it? Okay. So Bettina says, wonderful to hear about your thoughts about spirituality. Yes, thank you for sharing about yours. Right, so now we're going to travel together to the mountaintop. Just waiting for the image to load. So now, before we go into that, I just want to share with you that what I'm going to be talking about today, just come out of the screen for a moment, comes from this book. It's called In My Wildest Dreams by Gail Blank. It's not an animal communication book. And in fact, it's a very old book. I'm trying to see if I've got sometimes I put a date for when I bought this book, but it's fair to say I read this book, there's no date in there, 20 years ago. Yeah, I would say safe. So what I'm going to be showing you with regards to just the concept or how we're going to be looking at goals and applying it to animal communication with our pets, I took from a chapter or, a topic from that book. So I wanted to give credit to the author, right? So let me go back in. Okay, now image isn't loading, so let's see what happens with the other slides. Who here knows this saying? Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Do you often find yourself saying that when you've been through something? It's like, oh, if only I knew then what I know now. Yeah, hindsight is a wonderful thing. We're going to apply goal setting using hindsight vision at the beginning of the process. So I'm going to get us to think backwards. Aha. Hopefully this is intriguing you. So I want you to imagine what it's like to be there, as in you've reached your goal, and then think backwards, step by step, until you reach where you are right now. Completely different way for setting goals or being very clear about how to achieve your goals. So what are we going to be doing with this? So I want you to imagine, and you know what is imagination. So those of you who have been working with me for some time, who've been in my Quick Start program, what do I say about imagination all the time? I say we need it. We need to activate it. It's the gateway to our intuitive senses. So let's imagine and fully imagine yourself standing in the future where you have reached your animal communication goal or animal communication with your pet goal. Just feel into that for a moment. And what I want to introduce to you is how you can apply this way of mapping out your pathway to help you achieve your goal. So when you're at the bottom of a mountain and you're looking up, it always feels like this is going to be a trek, especially if it's a huge mountain that you've decided that that's the mountain you're going to climb. So your goal in relation to using the mountain as the concept, when you've chosen this mountain and you look up and you're right at the bottom, you haven't started your climb yet, and you're trying to work out your best path up, it always feels sometimes insurmountable. So although you can be excited, you're thinking, oh, I don't know, how long will it take for me to get up there? Or what if, will I give up halfway? What if the path is rocky? What if I slip? What if? Yeah, but you're like, no, I'm determined. This is my mountain. I want to climb it. Now, I want you to also now think about if you were on the top of the mountain and you're looking down, okay? And then you see other people at the bottom of the mountain. They're trying to work out how to get to the top, right? And you're at the top. And you can see some have taken one route and another one might have taken another route. You have this helicopter view and you can see all these different paths that people can take. And you've seen that some people have really chosen a really difficult, windy path, yeah? And some people seem to just be like, ooh, but you have the privilege of being able to look down with a bird's eye view and say to yourself, actually, that path, that way up is much easier than maybe that way up, okay? So when you're at the top, you're actually have more creativity you don't have as many of that, oh gosh, this is going to be hard. You're almost in that space where you can look around and go, yep, from here, they need to go there, then they go down that bit, then they down that bit and down that bit. Would you agree? Who here have done mountain climbing? Because I haven't. But hopefully the idea or the theory behind the difference when you're trying to map out reaching your goal, if you're doing it from the bottom looking up, it always feels a lot harder than if you're at the top looking down. Would you say? Okay, right. So I want you to imagine you're already at the mountaintop. And we're going to start to use hindsight to say to yourself, okay, if I had the privilege of being able to look back at how I've reached this goal, what would I be doing to help me have an easier route or an achievable route? Okay, so does that make sense? Who here kind of like, you know, say to yourself, yeah, this is a different way of mapping out how I can achieve a goal. Okay, so Kirsty says, I'm excited to create and achieve new goals in deepening relationships and sharing wisdom messages from my pets and other animals. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to do the mountaintop now. So remember, you're already at the top. Now I'm just going to use an example. Okay, mine would be a general goal. So I want you to be more specific when you draw out your mountaintop. So you start at the top, you have a bird's eye view, and you're going to allow yourself to think backwards step at a time. So let me just share with you an example. So let's say your mountaintop goal is to converse fluently with your pets anytime, anywhere. Who else would like this goal? Does this resonate with you? Now, remember, the goal is right for you if you have the energy of excitement to it. Okay, don't set a goal that makes you feel like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing this, or I don't think I can do this. Set a goal that gets your energy into excitement, right? So we all want to be at a place where we can converse fluently with our pets anytime, anywhere. So say that's my goal too, if you want to, in the comments, so that I know that it also resonates with you. So now what you want to do is I want you to help you to climb down the mountain a step at a time. This is the question to ask. What would have happened just before to allow for that? I'm going to pause for a moment for you to just connect in with this question. So your goal is to converse fluently with your pets anytime, anywhere. Imagine what that feels like. Imagine what that looks like. You don't have to try. You don't have to, you know, there's no doubt. You're not fighting. You're not questioning. You're not avoiding. You know, you need to help your pet. You know straight away how to converse with them fluently and easily. That's your goal. So before you get to a place where you can converse with them fluently and easily, what would have happened just before to allow for that? So what would have been the step? Where would you have been at in order to get to that? Would you say it's because you know how to approach your pets and how to open up the channels of communication? Okay, so when you're at that place where you know how to approach your pets, you know the type of questions that are relevant to them, you know, and you can recognize how the channels of communication can be encouraged to be open, as well as your channels of receiving, that you know immediately, you know, you trust that the information that comes to you is definitely from them. You're not wondering whether it's from them, whether it's on your own thoughts. You are so confident at that point. So when you know how to approach your pets and you know how to open up the channels of communication, then it naturally allows you to reach your goal, which is to converse fluently with your pets anytime, anywhere. So we're still moving down the mountain. So we're now at this point where you know how to approach your pets and how to open up the channels of communication. So imagine that you're at that place where you just know what to do. Yeah, you don't have to try. You don't have to wonder, oh, am I connected? Will they talk to me? Do I know what to ask them? So what would have happened just before to make that possible? I.e., what will you be doing? What have you learned in order to get to a place where you just know you can help your pet to open up in communication? How about you have been communicating with your pets daily? You're trying it out. You're not worried about mistakes. You don't mind if it's right or wrong because it's your own pets. There's no pressure. You're exploring different topics. It can be serious topics. It can be thought-provoking topics. It can be fun topics. It can be silly topics. So you're actually finding yourself communicating with your pets every day. And in fact, you don't even think about it. You look forward to it. You just want to. It's as natural as saying hello to them verbally, as natural as talking to them out loud, but you're actually also doing it the animal communication way. Okay, so climbing down the mountain. So you're at the stage now where you're communicating with your pets daily and you're having fun exploring different topics. What would have happened just before to allow for that? Where were you, or where are you in terms of your mindset or your experience or your learning, where you find yourself communicating with your pets every day and finding lots of different topics to explore? Perhaps you are at the stage where you're learning to recognize your communication style and their communication style. Because when you recognize your own communication style and your pet's style, you're not incompatible with your communication. You know how they want to communicate to you. You know what are their strengths and maybe what are they, maybe they're not as forthcoming, perhaps in some of their style. And you also know yours. Maybe you prefer to do yours outdoors. Maybe you prefer to do yours indoors. You start to understand and recognize and embrace your own communication style and your pet's communication style. Okay. So now you know what I'm going to be asking you, because it's the same all the way down. So you're at the stage where you really accept yourself, the way that animal communication comes to you. You're not pretending to be anyone else. You're not comparing yourself. You just know that this is how the communication comes to you. You also know this is how you offer the communication to your pets. And the same with your animals. You're not trying to change them. You're not worried if the information comes through and you don't understand it to begin with, or you're not thinking that you're not doing it right. If nothing comes through, maybe for the first few minutes, you know that their style is very much give it some time, or, I'll be entering your thoughts as and when. So what would have happened just before to make that happen? What will you be learning? What were you practicing? What kind of things are you exploring for you to really connect with your style and your animal style? Guess what? You would have been powering up your intuitive senses. It would have become second nature for you to be doing that. You start to really develop a relationship with your intuitive senses. You start to understand that intuitive senses is actually the language of your pets and animals. You're no longer wondering, how am I going to understand what they're saying? How will I know it's them? You focus on really developing and having a relationship with your intuitive senses, because that's going to then be the stage before you can really recognize your style, how the intuitive senses come to you, how do they, manifest in terms of visuals and smell and sound and taste and emotion, physical sensations. Once you know all that, you can really recognize your style, which is how it comes to you and how you send it. All right, shall we keep going? Okay, so what would have had to happen just before to allow you to be powering up and developing your intuitive senses? You have to activate your imagination to connect with the intuitive senses. So if you have not been encouraged to allow your imagination to come into play, if you have had for many, many years been told that imagination means you're just wasting time, you're daydreaming, it never comes to anything, you should be realistic, only worked with facts, imagination is just for kids, not for adults, come back to the real world. So, but if you're not going to be activating your imagination, it's not going to allow you to power up your intuitive senses, which then that means it's going to create a block and you can't reach your goal. So you're at this place where you say to yourself, I really want to get in touch with my imagination. As a child, I never doubted that I could speak with animals, and I used to, spend time with my pets, and I just knew they were speaking to me. I knew what they were saying to me. But then as I grew older and maybe someone told me not to be so silly, I just blocked all of that. So you're now at this place where you actively allow your imagination to come to the forefront and use it to connect with your intuitive senses. So you know the question I'm going to be asking. What would have happened just before to make that possible? What needed to be in place for you in order for you to activate your imagination and allow it to connect to your intuitive senses? You have to adopt a curious attitude and really, really trust yourself. Yeah. So in order to be at a place where you activate your imagination, you have to be curious. You can't activate your imagination by being cynical or skeptical, because that just closes down the imagination. So you're at this place where everything is going to make you curious, right? You're curious about imagination. You're curious about intuitive senses. You're curious about animal communication. You're curious, just curious, all right? And again, it's an interesting state to be in, curiosity, because again, as an adult, we often stop being curious. We're always like checking the facts. We're always saying things like, are you sure? Are you, and curiosity means really following a path that doesn't really at any point make sense to begin with. So again, as adults, we often want to know what's next, what's next, what's next, So as children, it's like, I don't know, you can enter a cave. It's like, oh, I don't know what's in here. Should we turn left? Should we turn right? Should we go ahead? Shall we, whatever. But as adults, we're like, where's the map? I want to know where we're going. Don't want to get lost. Okay, so who here, pop in the comments, let me know, because I want to know how many of you view yourself as curious. How many of you adopt a curious attitude when you are learning animal communication? So I shall catch up with the comments in a little while. So we got one more time to ask the question. What would have happened just before to allow for you to be in a curious state of mind? What do you think? Uncovering your set of blocks and understanding how to overcome them. Because when you have unconscious beliefs that block your curious and blocks your ability to activate your imagination, you can't move forward. You're always hitting that over and over again. But most of our blocks are deep in our unconscious. So when you uncover them, it will really help you to be aware of them. Awareness is the key. And then as a result of being aware of what they are, doesn't mean you just go, oh, well, you know, I just have these blocks. No, I want you to welcome blocks. I want you to welcome the struggles and go, right, now I've got something to work with. Because when I know what they are, I'm going to do a little bit more detective work and say, where did it come from? Yeah. Okay. So I'm not just going to leave you there, because I can't just leave you with going, all right, I've got to uncover my blocks. And now I've got to understand how to overcome them. We're going to talk about some of those blocks. But before we do that, let's therefore look at all the steps. So can you see how we've climbed from the top all the way to the bottom? Now, if we started at the bottom and I said to you, the beginning of your journey is to uncover your blocks and understand how to overcome them, you'd be like, oh, this is too much hard work. Yeah. But because we were at the top of the mountain and we climbed down, it's like you're like, right, I'm ready to find out what these blocks are, because I don't want them, because I want to get to a curious attitude. I want to activate my imagination. I want to power up my intuitive senses. I want to communicate with my pets daily. I want to be at a place where I just know how to approach them. And then guess what? I'm conversing fluently with them anytime, anywhere. Are you as excited as me? Okay, so Katie, you're curious. Kirsty, curious. Bettina, curious. Good. Curious, curious, curious. So let's keep going. Let's help you set up for success, right? Because when you work with your pets and all animals, but my focus is very much to encourage you to work with your pets when it comes to learning animal communication, is that they want to help us. They want to encourage us. It's for their benefit. Absolutely. They're the ones that need to tell us when we misunderstand them. They're the ones that need to tell us when we look at them and go, I don't know what you're saying to me. And they're like, so they're going to want us to learn animal communication, reach our goals, and therefore they're going to help us to achieve success. So to ensure your learning has a successful start, it's really important to get to know yourself, what your process is, what's your behavior and thoughts and habits that really come up to the surface when you begin the process of wanting to communicate with your pets. If there are processes, behaviors, thoughts, and habits that make you go like, I don't like this about myself, I want you to go, I want to say hello to this aspect of myself, because I want to understand that somewhere along my life, someone said something or did something, and then I've taken on board this behavior, this process, this thought, this habit. And it's not helping me with my animal communication. So once you identify it, you have awareness for it. And then you can say, it's not relevant to who I am today and not relevant in my animal communication with my pets. So let's look at a few what ifs. How many what ifs do you guys have? Let's just look at a few today. A big what if is, what if I could be making up the answers when I ask my pet a question? So again, how many of you have this thought often when you think about communicating with your pets or when you're actually trying it out? This antidote is to say to yourself, why would I not believe myself? Because that's what it's down to. When you think, oh, I don't know, I could be making it up. My question to you is, what's in it for you for making it up? especially when you're communicating with your own pets. There really is no benefit to be making anything up. It's just between you and your pet. So it's actually down to whether you believe yourself or not. And very often we dismiss a lot of the things that we feel and our opinions, our views, because we just think, oh, no, we just very quickly criticize ourselves. So whether it's something that you can prove or not when it comes to your pet and you being curious about communicating with them, make a promise to yourself that you will believe yourself, because you have nothing to lose by believing yourself. Okay, so if you agree with me, put in the comments, believe myself. I would love to see many, many, many comments that says believe myself. You will make my day. Okay. So another popular one, and even though we do cover it a lot and we say it a lot, we still think I need to be gifted to do this, because we compare ourselves with those who have gone before us, who demonstrate how amazing their ability is when it comes to communicating with animals, the stories that they tell, and you just think, wow, oh gosh, if only I was as clever as them, if only I was as gifted as them. Well, here's my answer. I want to know if you have imagination. I want to know if you have intuitive senses. And I want to know if you have passion. So write in the comments 3, 2, or 1. So you have all 3, or you have 2 of those, or you have 1 of those, or maybe 0. Okay, so let me just check who is got 3, who's got 2, who's got 1, who's got 0. I'm seeing the believe myself come through. That makes me very happy. So we have Katie, believe myself, Bettina, believe myself, Ashwin, David, believe in myself, Jane, believe myself. Perfect. So now I want to know 0, 3, 2, or 1. Do you have imagination? Do you have intuitive senses? Do you have passion? So Katie has 3, Bettina has 3, Rachel has 4. I like your 4. Imagination, intuitive senses, passion. I'm missing something here. Kirsty got 3, Ashwin, you got 2, right? So Ashwin, tell me, which one do you not have out of the 3? So imagination, you activate it. Yeah, you become a child once again, and you allow yourself to daydream. You watch films or read books that really activate your imagination. You do art, you sing, you dance, anything to get that imagination going. You tell stories, as fantastical as it can ever be. It's, not worrying about what people think. So the way you dress, how you allow yourself to dress, really use your imagination. Intuitive senses is to be developed. We've got them. We were born with them, but we, again, dumb it down because we think, well, the world is all about rationale and logical, so therefore we mustn't be going around saying, oh, yes, I sense this, I sense that. No, intuitive senses can be redeveloped. Passion, fire in your soul, your heart, something that you feel that you want to, that really gives you purpose or a meaning. Do you feel passionate towards your pets, the relationship that you have with them, what you want to offer them in their lives? Do they bring out the energy of passion for you? Do they make you laugh so hard? Do they bring out, feelings of deep, deep love? All of that is passion. Okay. Rachel, yes, 3. Well, I don't know. I like the fact you got 4, you got abundance. Beautiful. So Jane says, other people think that too, like you have magical psychic powers or something. Right. So I'm sharing this with you. If you have imagination, if you have intuitive senses, and you fire it up with your passion, that means you are gifted, right? So I want to change it too slightly. I don't want us to say you don't have to be gifted in order to communicate with animals. I want to say we are all gifted, but it's the passion that drives the gift. It's the passion that gives life to the gift. All right. You can have a gift in singing, but if you don't have a passion for singing, you're not going to be activating that gift, are you? Right? So that is where I'm coming from with regards to communicating with animals. Imagination can be reactivated, intuitive senses can be redeveloped, and passion is what drives it, is what helps you to reach that mountain top. The third block we have is, I'm tired of trying and getting no results. Yeah? You get to a stage where you think, I've done this so many times, I've read so many books, I've been to so many courses, and I still don't feel like I'm getting any results. Well, the antidote for that is you're likely to be trying to be like somebody else when you try so hard. You're trying to do it the way somebody else is doing it. You try to follow their method. You're saying that their way of doing it is right. And therefore, when you can't do it that way, or you can't fully follow what they're doing, or you don't understand how they're doing it, you see that you're the failure. But actually, animal communication is about discovering your own style and your own process. You can take inspiration from other people, but you don't think that their way is the way. If you're drawn to my style, that means there's aspects of it, there's elements of it that you like, that you're going to develop into your own style. So you might have 2 or 3 animal communicators that you follow and you admire. Say to yourself, which aspect of it do I like, and how do I turn it into something that is mine, my own style, my own process? Okay. So when you feel like you're going nowhere, when you feel like you're still not getting it, when you still feel like you're not doing it right, it's because you're trying to do it like somebody else. So the key concept to grasp is that it is the language of our pets we're learning, not the human language we're expecting them to use. This really, to me, is the key. That's why we activate our imagination, we develop our intuitive senses, because that is the language that our pets want us to talk to them. They already receive the human language when we speak with them verbally. So when we telepathically communicate with them, we might as well expand our communication. So when you're communicating with your pets telepathically, it's not like you stop communicating with them verbally. It just means that you really bring in a richer conversation with them, because you're using verbal and you're also using the animal communication. So it makes your vocabulary a lot more deep. So remember, your pets want you to learn and that they will help you. They have to work hard to send us messages. So imagine if we were to learn their language and that they learn ours, which they already have, how much easier it would be for everyone. That to me is my passion, is that I don't want my pets to have to always be the one that has to work in the human language. I want them to also know that I speak their language. And actually, let's be honest, when I say it's their language, it's ours too, with species to species. But for the sake of the context that we're talking about, we don't want our pets to have to learn the human language. we want to be able to communicate with them in their language, because then they can tell us so much more. Human language for our pets is so much more restrictive. So let's help our pets and help our relationship when we can converse with them in intuitive senses. So here's a summary of what I cover in my Pet Communication Quick Start program. I use the 4-step framework, which covers the concept, how to connect, the art of conversing, and then you get to the level of competence. So when you have the concept and you know how to connect successfully with your pet, you will gain clarity. When you are at ease with how to connect with your pets and you enjoy the conversation in a way that is in your style and in your animal style, it really allows for a richer exploration, different topics, different perspective. You get to understand how they think, they get to understand how you think. And when you are at that stage where you are conversing with them daily and you find it easy and you want to explore more and you're not afraid of trying different topics and you don't worry about right or wrong, you will get to the place of competence. And what that allows is to have a purpose for the conversation. You know, if you want to get together and have a family conference with 2 or 3 of your pets together, there's a purpose that you can bring in the art of conversation and your level of competency. And when you bring in your level of competency and you really get the concept and grasp the concept of what animal communication means to you, right? The concept has to resonate with you. Again, just because somebody else says what animal communication is, doesn't necessarily mean it will resonate with you. Choose what resonates and work with what resonates. So when you have the competence and you understand what the concept of animal communication means to you, you're really at that place where you can apply it, not just with your own pets, but other animals as well. So I hope that that's been very useful for you to know that there is a way to reach your mountaintop without looking up at the mountain and thinking, oh God, this is so hard. But instead you take a bird's eye view and you take it step at a time all the way down until you've mapped the pathway that works for you. And in my Pet Communication Quick Start, I've mapped it out as a 4-step framework. So just to round up this Facebook Live and also to thank you for your time and presence and energy to be with me, I just want to let you know that I am running a flash sale for my Pet Communication Quick Start course, which is a new edition. It ends in 3 days. It ends on Sunday, 9 p.m. in the UK. So if you're interested in finding out more about this, pop in the comment Quick Start. It's a one-time flash sale only. So grab this opportunity. And thank you again for being here with me, and join me again for another Facebook Live very soon. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.